There we go. All right.
Yep.
We're live. All right.
Hello.
Welcome to episode 444 of the Sqrpt.
Time to quit.
It's a lucky number. Done.
Good number.
It's a
Done.
good roundish
That
number.
that was the number of my Boy Scout troop.
Wow.
Okay, definitely.
So we have to do
now.
10 more shows. So it's 454, which is
Okay.
both the Casul round and also the big block Chevy.
Oh yeah.
It's guns and cars, man. Brita is unimpressed. That is the most unimpressed face I've ever seen. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Boys.
What can we say?
Mm.
Guilty as charged. So, I'm glad to know
Yes.
I am now cleared to slap anyone who calls me Chrome Dome.
Huh?
Haven't we established that?
If you don't like
the big brouhaha. If you make some fun of someone's hair or lack thereof,
Oh.
you're free to slap them.
the hair. Mm-hmm. Well,
Oh, somebody tells me it doesn't work that way, but
I think only if you're a famous black actor do you get away with
Well-
it. Actually.
let me say this. I know that Will Smith is like the famous actor. I don't know why we're talking about this because it's like so dumb. But
I just want to slap people.
well, yeah, but Will Smith is like the famous actor guy, and Jada Smith used to be a famous actress. She doesn't do much now.
Oh, she does a lot just with men that aren't her husband.
Right. I was getting to that. Thanks, Alan. I mean, take it away. You go ahead.
No. You go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
you go ahead.
I stole your thunder. I didn't know you were going there, but
No, you go ahead.
that's
Tell
all
the
I know.
story.
I don't know.
No?
No.
Okay. Anyway, she has this TV show, and it's like, I don't know the name of it. I just know the premise. A bunch of like famous people sit around a red table and they discuss their bullshit. And apparently on this show, like she had her husband on and publicly discuss their bullshit.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd missed that too.
That's
Yeah.
Again, I'd missed all of it.
that's yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like I don't know that much about it, but I do know that like the whole like Will Jada marriage situation is public knowledge.
Yeah, and it's between them and
It
whatever.
isn't, Jay.
Well, yes, it's not
everybody
between them and the
knows.
entire world.
but only because they broadcast it to the entire universe.
Right. For whatever reason. And I think there's more going on there with Will Smith than perhaps, the world is privy to.
I'm
And
sorry.
the fact that he felt the need to get up and defend his wife's honor,
It was
at the
staged.
Oscars.
It
Although
was
I will
staged.
say it is an interesting thing that he reached the pinnacle of his career that night. He won an Oscar, Best Actor, the thing that he's been working for decades, correct? Since
I guess.
whatever.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
And completely destroyed his career in the same night.
I
Good
don't
for you,
think so.
buddy. Oh, I do.
I don't think so. Alec
mm.
Baldwin killed somebody, and he still has a career.
Yeah, but he's a white guy.
I don't know.
Alec Baldwin has white privilege.
See, that's the whole thing. If they suspend Will Smith or sanction him in any way, they're going to riot. Because wait
Yeah.
a minute, white dude kills somebody, he's fine. Will Smith slaps somebody,
Yeah.
I
I have seen on Twitter that Will Smith smacking Chris Rock is like black people business, and white people shouldn't comment.
I was just
on
going to say it's like the black on black crime in Chicago. Nobody
Right.
talks about it.
Right.
It just gets swept under the rug and forgotten about.
it. Anyway,
It's got to be big because for at least 2 or 3 days, CNN did not talk about January 6th.
they replaced it with Will Smith. Wow.
So it's a big story.
Well,
I don't-
I'm just disappointed nobody has pressed charges against Will Smith. I mean, That's what needs to happen.
It was
because
staged. They're not going to press charges.
It wasn't staged, Jay.
Oh, I
It was
am
not.
certain it was staged.
Absolutely not staged. No.
You can't tell me that there's not like a shit ton of security there. And as soon as Will Smith got out of his chair, they were security. There have been a lot of people on Twitter pointing out that, oh, well, they had to hold John Wayne back from beating up on Princess, whatever the hell her name, who was shitting all over the. Oh, yeah. Apparently, they had some Native American on up at the podium talking about how terrible the United States is because of what they did to the Native Americans.
Was this the Marlon Brando? He didn't show up to win his Oscar.
No. That might have been the same thing, but John Wayne was being held back, and I'm like, so they had security in the 70s to hold back John Wayne, but Will Smith gets up and strolls his ass over to Chris Rock, and not a single dude in a suit jumped up and went, hey, why don't we just cool off?
Well, Jay, Black Lives Matter had riots all over the place and nobody did anything. A bunch of white people got together on January 6th and it was a fucking riot. Yeah.
So. Worse than 9/11.
Well, I think the telling part of it was not staged was the footage of what happened during the commercial break.
That we didn't see.
That wasn't televised until later. Other actors came up to Will Smith and were like hugging him, and he was sobbing, he was crying, and people were like scrambling around. I don't think it was staged at all.
All
right. I think again,
except they are actors.
Yeah, but they're still people.
To me, it's like it's Chris Rock, man. Of all the things he could have said about Jada Pinkett Smith, Are You Going Out for G.I. Jane 2 is like one of the tamest. You know what I mean?
That's really not even something to get upset about. I mean,
it's just, it's not like, all right, she's going through chemotherapy and she lost her hair because of that.
No.
She might be sensitive. No, this is just, her hair's thinning a little. Oh, cry me a fucking river.
Yeah, her hair is thinning because of some skin condition, and so
she's got alopecia.
Alopecia. It's your hair falls out it can be stress, it can be diet, it can be any number of things.
She was very clear on social media prior to the Oscars that she didn't care what anybody thought about her bald head.
Bingo. Yeah. And there's ample evidence that she didn't care or was claiming not to care. Ergo, Chris Rock's very minor joke should not have sparked what happened.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's issues there that,
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Well, it's Hollywood, of course.
And again, what are they doing that they're distracting us from? Joe Biden says that Vladimir Putin, the head of a nuclear superpower, should be deposed. And they're like, oh, it was a gaffe.
Well.
But Herschel Walker says CTR instead of CRT, and it's, whoa, look at this idiot. We'll let Biden's repeated referral to the Bureau that handles alcohol, tobacco, and firearms as the AFT, repeatedly called it the AFT.
Really? Well,
there's also evidence that, speaking of AFT, the American Federation of Teachers, which is probably what confused Biden, they just came out that the AFT and the CDC were in collusion about the response to COVID and how the teachers shouldn't have to go back to class.
I'm sorry.
Influence the CDC guidelines.
Well, actually, I agree.
Teachers don't want to go back to class. They love their summer vacation, and they would like it extended.
Teachers shouldn't go back to class. They should just close the schools completely.
You mean the indoctrination centers, but especially oh god, and they're all up in arms about Florida, huh? Makes me think DeSantis is running.
I think so.
I think
he's going to run
because
he has a good shot at winning at this point.
He'll win re-election in Florida in a landslide for governor.
Yeah,
and then he'll use that as a platform to launch presidential.
Disney's threatening to leave the state. Oh, Oh, I think
where will
not.
you go?
Yeah.
Not only where will you go, but they own like a huge chunk of it. It's like,
Right. Like,
no.
and you're going to pick up
Well,
all your infrastructure and
here's
go
here's
where?
the thing. Here's the thing about Disney, where Disney Tokyo
Mhm.
still in operation, right?
Yes.
Gay marriage is completely illegal in Japan.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Not a peep.
And they're pissed because DeSantis wants to stop the discussions of sexuality in elementary school.
Yeah.
That's the hill you want to die on, motherfuckers?
Okay,
Good
groomers.
luck with that.
Yeah.
They're talking 5 to 9-year-olds. No, I'm sorry. No.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
You want
think
to talk
back to
about
when,
fisting with my
I know it was a
with my
long time
second
ago,
grader.
but think back to when you were 5. Like,
Yeah.
That didn't even enter my mind.
no.
5, 6 maybe, but definitely not 5.
Well, I'm not,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, it's,
Mommy, what are those dogs doing?
Yeah, they love when a mommy dog and a daddy dog. Yeah, he's pushing her over the fence. But yeah, it's very curious that Disney is choosing this particular hill to die on.
It's very,
that is weird.
It's strange. Yeah.
It is weird.
Because you've got to think that anyone would choose this particular hill. That you want to stop discussions of sexuality among
It's not discussions, Jay.
prepubescents.
It's not discussions. It's classroom curriculum.
Yeah. Well, that's a discussion, Alan. But
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
but it's not. It's not.
I saw. It was probably on Twitter, but a teacher from Florida was upset about the law, and he was a gay man, and he taught 3rd grade, 2nd grade, something like that. He was upset, and he was a married gay man, which I'm all for gay marriage. He was upset that he wasn't able to discuss his personal life with his students.
What the fuck?
You shouldn't just
not personal life. He was like, well, I can't tell my students that my husband and I went out, what was it, paddle boarding or kayaking or whatever it was. And I was like, why do you need to discuss that with your students?
Yeah,
with
exactly.
3rd graders.
I mean, that's
I didn't
why
know
are
my
you
teachers.
discussing your, and I figured it out. It's narcissism.
Yeah, probably.
It's these teachers feel that, I can't even describe it, but like for an adult to say, my kids in my classroom need to know about what I do in my life.
Yep.
No, they don't.
Yep.
Teach them math. Teach them science. Like, they don't need to know about your personal life. They don't need to know about your husband, about your dog, about your kids,
Right.
about your grandma. They don't need to know. Like, I'm trying to think back about my teachers in the past, and I knew nothing about their private lives.
3rd grade, I assumed they slept in a coffin. Okay?
I didn't know.
They came out.
Like, I don't know.
They went into hibernation in the summer because they ceased to exist.
Right.
And then they would come out of the coffin in September.
I remember how shocked I was when I saw one of my teachers outside of school one day.
You have a life?
I was in elementary school. I didn't know they even had personal lives outside of school.
Right.
And the concept was like, and I saw one in the grocery store, and I was like, "Oh,
you mean you eat?"
I felt like Donald Sutherland. Oh,
right.
You eat human food? I assumed there was a big bag of teacher chow.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
why would you? Yeah.
And
why would you discuss any
family.
personal life with
You don't need to
elementary school
establish
kids?
a rapport with an 8-year-old.
No.
Okay.
No.
No.
Unless you have some ulterior motive.
Well, you know what I think it is? It's they need something to be persecuted about. They need to be an oppressed victim.
Yeah. Well,
and being
that's
a homosexual now
is no big deal.
You can get married. You're not
Yeah.
discriminated against. You enjoy federal protections.
Right.
I mean, shit. You don't have anything to bitch about, do you? You can stop having your fucking parades.
Yeah, that's the problem, Jay.
And all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute. Nobody's paying attention to me, feeding right back into what Brita was saying.
Yep.
Nobody's paying attention to me. I can't, oh, this is terrible. So now it's, I can't discuss, whatever with my class. You should be discussing teaching shit to your class.
Yeah.
And nothing else. And it doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, single, or whatever. It shouldn't matter because you shouldn't be talking about it.
I mean, everybody had that gym teacher in middle school, right? And you know what I'm talking about. And you don't know, like, she was a little, like, looking back, you're like...
Oh, the female gym teachers.
She was a little questionable.
I thought you were talking about the dudes.
Is she? Is she not? Well, I mean, I don't know about the dude ones, but I know that
there was a couple of dudes that were, are they not? Actually.
But you didn't know,
that's interesting.
And they didn't talk about it. And it was just like, she's your teacher. And it was like this other,
the girl softball coach.
Yeah.
That's very...
See, for me, it was the gym teachers were always I really wanted to play football, but I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to take my anger out on you 4-year-olds.
Yeah, that's what it was a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, but it was never discussed. It was, I mean, among the kids, probably like had like this weird, like, I don't know, like about, but it was not like a thing that was out there, I guess. And maybe just, but at the same time, I had teachers who were, in retrospect, like absolutely straight, absolutely married to someone of the other sex, absolutely had children and families of their own, but that wasn't discussed either.
Right.
And I don't feel like it should have been.
Well,
it's not a teacher's place to. No.
I'm confused too, because all we ever hear is how overworked they are, and just how stressful everything is. So you've got time to engage in idle chit chat with 8-year-olds about your personal life and paddleboarding.
Right.
I guess you're not as busy as you've been telling us. And it's not as difficult as you've been telling us. If you've got time to just then, maybe you should only have a part-time salary. Oh, we don't like to talk about that.
Well,
which really
I think a lot of parents, especially through the pandemic, have figured out, hey, wait a minute.
Yep.
Maybe this isn't so hard.
And started paying attention because it's going on. The kids trying to do remote learning while the parents trying to telework, and it's like, did they just say what I think they said? Hold on a minute. And again, we saw it here in Virginia. And Terry McAuliffe's like, well, of course parents shouldn't have any say in their kids' schooling.
What?
How'd that work out for you, Terry?
Yeah. Wah, wah.
Governor Youngkin sends his thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yep. Well, it's the whole the don't say gay lie is not playing out well because DeSantis has like insanely high approval numbers.
Yeah.
And the Republicans have more registered Republican voters than Democrats for like the first time ever in Florida.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks like Florida is not going to be a swing state much longer. Speaking of swing states, Alan, and up and coming Democrats, how's Beto doing in his race for Texas governor? I hear he had a unique T-shirt.
I saw that picture. Oh, bless his heart. First of all,
see it.
Is he okay? Like, he doesn't look okay.
He's a Democrat. Of course, he's not okay.
Francis, he's got to do something to keep out of the house.
He doesn't look okay. I don't know. He looks like stranded on a desert island kind of guy.
Don't mess. The T-shirt, for those who didn't see, said "Don't mess." It was an outline of Texas and "Don't mess with trans kids."
Okay.
Because that's the biggest issue we have going on.
I try not to mess with any kids personally.
Well, the whole thing is they're now it should be Biden saying, oh well, we should have free surgery for 6-year-olds.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just,
I'm sorry, but trans kids shouldn't even be a thing.
It's clearly a distraction. It's clearly pandering. And
Sure.
the saddest thing of all is that it apparently works, because then, of course, you immediately paint anyone who's against Biden. Well, clearly they're homophobic and blah, blah, blah. It's like, or maybe they just think you shouldn't mutilate a 7-year-old who really don't. When my son was 7, he wanted to be a forklift. Should I have welded giant metal things to his front? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yes, Jay.
Yeah. This whole thing about just get a surgery and you can be the other gender thing. It to me really it looks like, I mean, they're totally two different things, but like people who are like, oh, you could just cut off your leg and get one of those fancy like prosthetics and it'll be better than the original. Yeah. No.
Well, you're confusing Hollywood with real life.
Yeah, but there's a lot of that going on.
I mean, it's
exactly. It's like you can't just get a surgery and bingo bango and you get the hormones and you cut off your breasts and your boy. No.
Yeah.
I just saw an interview with a young woman who detransitioned. She spent years taking hormone therapy.
Trying to be a guy?
Trying to be a boy. And she told the whole story about how she got to that point. She was on the internet a lot because she felt isolated from the other girls in her class.
Uh-huh.
She was on Tumblr. And and basically she went through it about the whole process of how it was kind of like joining a cult. You get kind of involved in this group and they kind of encourage you and they bring you in and there's this whole process and it's like a cult. And she talked about how I don't know, it was really interesting and she ended up turning 18 and going to Planned Parenthood of all places and getting, yes, Jay, Planned Parenthood. And she walked into Planned Parenthood and she filled out a little questionnaire and they asked her, a few questions, blah, blah, blah. Never referred her to a psychologist. And they gave her the max amount of testosterone.
Wow.
Injections. Max amount.
And that's about women's health. How? Because that's your big thing. It's like, oh, we're not just about abortions. We're about women's health. We're about mammograms and blah, blah, blah.
But so, according to their rules and their logic, she's not a man. She's not a woman. She's a man.
Fuck if I know. I don't understand. I don't understand either. But that's where she got her hormones. And she basically, they wanted to prescribe her a certain amount of hormones. And I guess like, usually they start you at a certain point and then kind of work you up to, and she was like, no, I think I need more. It was basically like, they were like, oh, okay. How much do you think you need? Let me write the prescription for you.
Good Lord.
Yeah. And, but she said it was like a cult. And, there's this whole belief that, I can just do this and check the boxes and do the surgery and get the hormones and all of a sudden magically I'm a boy.
And that fixes everything.
No.
It's just bingo, bango, boingo, done.
Yeah.
Except it doesn't.
Right.
Nobody likes to talk about that. But it's funny that you mentioned Tumblr because it brought to mind one of the pieces of news that we missed. Or no, we didn't miss. We haven't had a chance to chat about how President Biden, in a bid to help get the word out about how he's going to work to combat inflation and all that, and So he invited a bunch of economists to the White House. No, it wasn't economists. It was TikTok influencers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's our tax dollars well spent. He had a bunch of 20-something idiots come to the White House.
Yeah.
So they could
Who've
spread
already
the
been
word.
indoctrinated their entire lives, by the way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Like, if that isn't the perfect microcosm for every fucking thing that's wrong with the country right now. You have a fucking senile old pedophile bringing in 20-somethings, probably sniffed each one of them, and then said, "Oh, go tell people what a wonderful job
They're
we're
kind
doing."
of too old for him, though, Jay.
Ooh. And of course, we got the other one. We got Cackles going, "Well, one of the problems is that we have problems. And if we have problems, then we have problems." She's like the kid that didn't read the fucking book, giving a book report.
She totally is.
You know?
Totally
And I'm
is. You're right.
Just like, really? And you can't define what a woman is except that you were only chosen because you're a woman.
Just imagine the panic that has to be going on in the smoke-filled rooms of the Democrat apparatus, up the party.
They're starting to realize that even they can't cheat this bad.
Yeah, I mean, just
like they'll run out of paper.
Imagine the
point.
Panic that is setting in. It's like, what? Holy shit! What are we going to do?
January 6th.
Nobody cares.
January 6th. January 6th.
The problem $6 gas and food doubling in price, and
if you can find it, it's double the price.
Right.
And gas is $6, and
and the Treasury yield curve just inverted, so we're about to go into a recession.
Yeah, and the price of cars has skyrocketed.
Yes.
So you got your RAV4 at the right time, Brita.
I know.
You could probably sell it for double what you paid now.
Yeah, you could definitely sell it for a lot more than what you paid.
But then what?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Get a bicycle, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, you do want one of those tricycles, the three-wheelers with the basket.
I do. Totally.
You have to get a bell. If you get one, you have to get a bell.
Ching, ching,
of
ching.
course.
Or a squeaky horn.
I'll make it the streamers on my handlebars.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I have those on my Harley.
You do not.
I have the leather fringe. I do.
Nice.
Leather. Okay.
But they're basically
yeah, they are.
They really are.
You can put the playing card, clothespin the playing card on the spokes and make it
go. Whoops. I actually do have wire wheels.
Hey. Yeah, but if you did that, nobody could hear it, Jay.
No. And as if we talked about our wonderful transportation secretary's advice to people who are struggling to pay for the higher gas prices, just buy an electric car. Well, Biden doubled down on it. Just buy an electric car.
I know.
Just buy an electric car. Apparently, though, some dealerships are running into trouble. I just read this today. Apparently, as part of getting a certain allotment of electric vehicles, they have to install rapid chargers. And what they're finding is, A, it's expensive, and B, your grid may not be able to handle it. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're not trying to install 300 high-speed chargers. It's probably half a dozen, maybe 10, if that, at the most.
Right.
And I would assume this is like Chevy dealers for the Chevy Volt and Nissan dealers for the Nissan Leaf and whatever the Hyundai or Kia or whatever, whoever has the all-electric
Nissan Leaf?
The Nissan Leaf, that is their plug-in car.
Oh my God. Whatever.
Exactly.
The Ford Mustang Mach-E.
No, don't.
I still can't believe they put that Mustang label on that thing.
We'll car geek breed out. It's just, I was, just the fact that they were like, it costs how much? Hundreds of thousands of dollars to upgrade the electrical system to put the fast chargers in. And those fast chargers will get you from like 30% to 80% in 20 minutes.
That's longer than at the gas pump.
That's a lot longer than it takes to gas up like a motorhome.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just to 80%. It's like, how quickly does your phone go from 100 to 80%? Takes a while.
Yeah.
And then it goes 80, 50, 20, plug it in right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's 20 minutes, so you have enough gas, you have enough juice to get home and plug it into your house, which, by the way, you don't have to buy a special charger. No, you just have to let it charge for 16 hours.
Yeah. Well, in their defense, lithium-ion batteries are give their longest life when you only cycle them between 20 and 80%. So if you you know.
But again,
it makes it makes that 150-mile car suddenly, 50.
Exactly. And again, what happens when you decide you need to go visit grandma 500 miles away?
You're screwed.
You have to stop for 2 to 2+ hours.
Yeah.
Take a bus. Yeah, take the bus, peon.
Who do you think you are going to visit your grandma? Don't you know we have an energy crisis? For God's sake, stay home and freeze.
Yeah.
Who the hell are you?
But Biden was echoing.
Wait while I go get on my jet and fly to Davos.
Yeah. Biden was echoing Pistol Pete. his admonition, if gas is too high, just buy an electric car. Let them eat cake. Oh, you can't afford $5 a gallon gasoline? I'll buy a $60,000 electric car that requires $5,000 worth of electric work at your house, by the way.
Oh.
Because those chargers don't just plug into your regular outlet. That's a 220. So unless you have a dryer in your garage that you can unplug, you have to have another 220 plug put out there. Or I guess you could unplug your oven.
Yeah, and a lot of people are discovering that their houses won't support that much amp on their panels, so they need a whole new panel and sometimes a new meter and everything else.
And that's just one house.
Yeah.
Now, every house on your street does that. What happens at 6 o'clock when everybody gets home from work and plugs their car in?
Right.
Here, let me give you an example. That's what happens.
Yeah.
You're sitting in the dark.
Also, like in California, which is in California, the state where they're going to ban gasoline cars in like 2035 or something ridiculous like that.
Washington is going to, no longer be able to buy a gasoline car.
They have that thing where their electricity is really expensive anyway, but they give you a discount for charging your electric car at night. What happens? What do you think is going to happen with that discount when everybody has an electric car?
Yeah.
And suddenly the peak electrical use hours are at night.
At night when everybody gets home.
Yeah.
It just it's kind of shocking that nobody is thinking about this.
Oh, they're thinking about it. They just don't want to mention it.
Well, the thing is, if you rush and get this into effect, you will literally have people with torches and pitchforks. It will literally look like Frankenstein. When you've got all these people who can't go to work in the morning because their cars didn't charge because the power went out overnight. And oh, by the way, everything in your refrigerator spoiled because you didn't have power for 10 hours.
They can learn to go foraging.
Oh, that was an excellent segue, Alan. Forage for zombies.
That's right. And it just so happens that Brita went to a class.
I did. The reason I wasn't here last week, and thank you, Hayden, for filling in, was
awesome. He's always awesome.
I know, he's always great. I wanted to go to, it was actually a program in a library, not the library I used to work at because I don't go there anymore. But it was this other library, it's in the area. It's part of actually the same kind of library system that I used to work for. They're doing a year-long series and one program a month of surviving the zombie apocalypse. And I thought it
Fun.
was so clever. They have different speakers every month come in and talk about various topics. And I think the first one was self-defense, and the second one was finding shelter. And this one I went to, March, was about foraging and about finding food out, out in your environment. And it was really interesting. And it went like almost an hour over. So
Wow.
yeah, it was really cool. And one of the interesting things about this program was that the guy who was speaking is a chef.
Oh,
And he's very into foraging, and he actually uses foraged ingredients in his restaurant.
wow.
So
Was it-
and he was talking about, I mean, he kind of began like, what do you need if you want to go out into the field and forage? Like, what do you need as like gear? And he said one of the best things to bring is a Leatherman,
Ah.
Oh,
because it's got like a variety of tools you can use.
Yeah.
And all sorts of foraging bags, like a backpack is really good, because he was saying that sometimes you think of foraging and you think of like picking little berries and having a little thing of berries. He said, but I pick mushrooms that are like giant,
wow.
10-pound mushrooms. You just put them in your backpack and hike out with them. But the whole thing was really interesting. It was very much like a mushroom geek. And mushroom, especially, I like mushrooms, the ones I
Frida?
get in the grocery store. Yes.
Are you saying he was a fun guy?
He was a fun guy.
Oh my God.
Oh, Jay.
I couldn't resist that one.
That's why you get paid the big bucks, Jay.
Awful.
Exactly.
I'm gonna
I'm
give you
sorry.
you're
I
gonna get-
had to.
You're gonna get a
You
pay
had
cut
to.
for that.
And he was talking about mushrooms a lot, and he's the type of guy who can just rattle off the like scientific name for mushrooms. And one of the interesting things that, the morel mushrooms, that they look like, they look like little honeycomb kind of on the outside, and they have very short season. And he said, but they are so expensive and so prized that there are people who follow the morel harvest from like the South, like down in North Carolina. They'll start harvesting and they will travel for 6 months up the United States, all the way up into Alaska, harvesting morel mushrooms. And within that 6 months, they make a ton of money and are done for the rest of the year.
Like find them in the woods and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
It's like the Grateful Dead, but with mushrooms.
exactly. Or like carnies, or
Yeah.
or like people who do like food things at state fairs. Like they just
Yeah, I
make their
guess.
money in a couple months and they're done for
Yep.
the rest of the year.
Yep.
But yeah, there are people who follow the morel harvest.
Renaissance fairs.
Fair. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. All sorts of things like that. But yeah, these people are like really into their mushrooms.
So-
But here's the thing I didn't know about mushrooms, and I'm sorry if I'm going to bore everybody,
Nope.
but this guy was saying that he's a chef now, okay, and he says that he eats mushrooms all the time. He eats mushrooms that he forages, but he will not eat any mushrooms raw.
Huh.
So, like, even the mushrooms you can get like at a salad bar, he will not eat those because they're raw. And the reason is because all mushrooms are toxic. All. Even the little white button mushrooms that you get at the grocery store, toxic. It's just in how much quantity. Like, and he said that also, like, different mushrooms affect different people differently. Like, there is a mushroom that he can eat, all day long, but if his wife eats just a little bit of it, she gets very, very sick.
Wow.
So I thought that
Okay.
was really interesting. And he was going on about white button mushrooms, cremini mushrooms, and portobello mushrooms are all the same mushroom.
I did not know that.
What are you paying for at the grocery store?
Yeah.
Anyway, so he was talking about like, where can you forage? And of course, this lecture was about Northeast Ohio. about Ohio in general, and it, your laws may vary by your state. Ohio state parks, you can forage in Ohio state parks, but only if you're foraging for personal use. So it's not like you can go in and like gather up like 20 pounds of mushrooms and then go sell them.
Right.
However, if you gather up 20 pounds of mushrooms and like ranger stops you and says, what are you doing with so many mushrooms? And you say, well, these are my mushrooms for the year and I'm going to take them home and I'm going to process them and
Really like mushrooms.
Freeze them or dry them or whatever.
Camp
I'll
them.
probably be like, okay, go take them. In Northeast Ohio, I guess it's mostly Northeast Ohio, but like, along the lake shore, we have the Lake Metro Parks and the Metro Parks here. You're not allowed to forage except for invasive species, of which there are plenty. And so I guess you can contact the parks and say, you want to join the invasive species task force, and they'll let you come out and help clear out
Cool.
You are not allowed to forage at all in national parks.
Huh.
0.
Those are the king's deer.
Right.
Those are the king's mushrooms.
Those are the king's mushrooms. You are not allowed to take them.
Peon.
Interesting.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting too, because considering.
How are they going to know? I mean, I guess like if they get you with a backpack full of mushrooms, but if you're just kind of walking along and go, oh, a berry, and eat it, how are they going to know?
They check your scat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, but it's kind of like.
I think that law is probably like to catch the people that are like egregious about it.
I'm sure.
If you're,
they're not going to bust you, pick a berry off a tree or whatever.
Right.
And he kind of was going through. He had slides and things of things in Northeast Ohio that are edible. And in Northeast Ohio, we have a lot of things out just in the environment that are edible. And Alan, I think the other day you looked up in your area.
Oh, yeah.
Not so much.
Texas has nothing edible.
Yeah.
There's a few things.
Pecans.
There's a few weeds that are edible, but for the most part, there's, if you want to come into Texas and live off the land, you're going to lose weight.
You got hogs.
Yeah, that's not foraging though. That's
yeah.
It's foraging
that's hunting.
A 308.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of like native plants. There's like I looked at the list. There's like 15 native plants that one of them's like
we have 230.
Yeah, one of them's like cactus and pecans, and I mean a lot of them are very seasonal too. So
don't you get agave from cactus?
Yeah,
in Mexico.
What is Texas right next to?
Go raid them for agave.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know if those grow here.
This is for the Alamo.
Yeah.
Go steal their cactus, their cacti.
Raid the border.
So I learned about, it's kind of a weird group at this program, but Jay, do you know about staghorn sumac?
Just sumac sounds.
Has the red.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm talking about? Well, and I asked about this because I see this tree all the time, and I asked, are there any kind of doppelganger plants that are poisonous? And he said, no. If you see a staghorn, it's that's the only thing in the area. And this was really cool. So staghorn sumac, and it's very regional. It looks like it's only a northeast kind of region of the United States. It gets it's like a tree, and it gets these kind of horns on it, and they look kind of red and fuzzy. And I always thought that the red fuzzy was like the flower or something, right? And he said, no, the fuzzy part is actually, it's like a cone, it's like little berries. And the reason why it's fuzzy, and I thought this was fascinating. This is what he said. Now I haven't looked it up to verify, but he said that the reason it's fuzzy is because it creates vitamin C crystals on the outside of the berry.
Huh.
Acetic acid, is that it? Vitamin C?
Ascorbic.
Ascorbic
Ascorbic
acid.
acid.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't drink acetic acid.
No, I'm sorry. Ascorbic acid. But the crystals like grow on the outside of the berry, and so it makes the everything look really fuzzy. It's very high in vitamin C, obviously.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can make tea with it and all
You
sorts
prevent
of stuff.
scurvy.
Yes, absolutely.
I wonder if that's something like the natives knew, like the native population.
Maybe. I mean, I've tasted it before, and actually they make a Middle Eastern spice out of it. It's called za'atar, and za'atar is made with sumac and sesame seeds and something else. Anyway, it's kind of like a tart, citrusy flavor.
We can ask Elizabeth Warren.
Yes, she would know.
I don't think she'd know.
All apples are edible.
Makes
Even
sense.
like the little weird
Crab apples?
Yes. All
What
apples
about
are edible.
what about horse apples? I don't think those are edible.
You can eat everything once.
That's what scares me about mushrooms. I'm like, it could taste good, it could make you see God, or it could kill you.
The whole like wild mushroom thing. I would be willing to go out and like forage like sumac because I know that, and but mushrooms, I don't know.
I'd want an expert.
Yeah.
It's like I'm good with like blackberries and raspberries. I'm like, those are
those are pretty good.
Those are
Yeah.
good. Blueberries, if you get bushes,
the mushrooms remind me of those guys that eat the gland of that poisonous fish in Japan, where it like kills
Fogo!
Like it kills every once in a while. It kills
they don't
one of
eat
them,
that.
They
don't eat the poisonous parts of the food.
Well, you have to have a good chef.
Not on purpose, but it still kill every once in a while. Somebody dies from it. I think I get the impression mushrooms are kind of like that because you're going along and you think, oh, this mushroom is whatever, except it's not, and then
it's just a little more asymmetric than it's supposed to be. And next thing you know, you're laying on the ground looking up at a 17-foot tall cactus.
I do love those time-lapse photos of mushroom and fungus growing, though. They're so cool. It's like,
well, I wanted to ask both of you because you both are have been in the past deeply involved in the Boy Scouts. Did you do any foraging talk in the Boy Scouts?
Yes.
We didn't so much. My involvement was more with the Cub Scouts, where you don't want them eating things they find on the ground.
Yeah. We used to do in the scout troop, every year we do what they called a survival weekend.
Okay.
When you go out camping, and only you really don't get to bring any food.
Yep.
And the idea is that you're supposed to live off the land, which basically means everybody sits around and starves to death and complains for a week.
They go hungry for 24 hours.
Right. But
my son did that.
But we do have the talks about different things. It's kind of foraging related. They talk about how you can make a flour out of acorns, and if you boil the bitter crap out of it. And
I wanted to talk about acorns.
Okay.
He was talking about acorns are very high in protein, high in fat, but they are also high in tannins, which make things.
You got to boil it out.
It tastes really bitter, right? So. There's an old Appalachian way of removing the tannins from your acorns.
What is it?
Acorns.
And tannins are
that you get on your roof.
Tannins, when they're in water, they are kind of like a brownish, reddish color. So the old Appalachian way, you would take your acorns, take them out of the shell or whatever, and you put them in a nut bag.
In a nut sack.
I knew this was I knew I'd have to say this.
Sorry.
In a bag.
Yes.
That lets water through, and you hang the bag in your toilet tank. Well, it's clean water.
Yeah.
And so after flushing, it flushes the tannins out of the acorns, and when the water runs clear in your toilet, your acorns are ready.
There you go.
Don't do this if you use the little blue tablets.
Yeah. Do not use that.
Definitely.
And hang it in the tank, not the bowl.
Yeah. That's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
So you could,
Yeah.
yeah, we do the, you could eat, like dandelions, you can eat those, and you
You make
can,
salad. You make wine.
Oh, like the greens. Yeah.
yeah, the greens, you can eat those, and so we did that once a year, and it was,
You always get the new kid to try the dandelion.
yeah, or we do, somebody find a cactus and we'd eat that, and
What?
yeah, you cut the outer layer of the cactus off, it's really juicy and
Okay.
quite edible.
Just any cactus?
Well, the ones around here in Texas, the prickly pears.
Oh, prickly pear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I imagine you can get water out of any cactus
Well, sure, but okay.
because they have their hard skin, but in the
Yeah,
inside they're all
I
like
know,
wet
I
and
know. They
pulpy.
hold water, succulents,
So
but I'm just
it's like a
thinking like
coconut.
okay.
Similar idea.
So why has nobody harvested cactus milk? They've got almond milk. They've got every other kind of milk.
There's no nipples.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh.
So next month in April, it is kind of what is the talk about? It's about like finding water and cleaning water and
That's
making
always
sure you're
fun.
hydrated,
Yeah.
sort of thing. So I might try to go to that one. But there's one on hunting. There's one on food preservation. There's all sorts of different ones. So
Cool.
Backyard hunting.
I do get deer back there.
I'm always fascinated by the whole zombie thing. It's like people that don't want to be called a prepper. They do this like zombie stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's just like fun and ha 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 zombie.
Yeah, we just had 2 years of proving there's no such thing as zombies.
If you're prepared for zombie apocalypse, I guess you're prepared for anything.
Except the Spanish Inquisition, because no one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Do you have a show and tell, Jay?
I do have a show and tell. I have a very cool show and tell.
I as well have a show and tell.
I do not.
It's not that cool, but yeah, I have a show and tell.
See, Alan knows what my show and tell is.
Do I?
We mentioned it after the show ended last week.
Oh,
I have. I was rummaging.
I forgot.
I was rummaging through my collection for something cool, and I came across this.
Ooh.
Is a zero tolerance knife.
Oh,
Check out the zebra stripe.
I like
blade.
that.
I love
that's cool.
this.
Zero tolerance of what?
Zero Tolerance is the company name. They're actually the high-end American-made foil for Kershaw. They're the Zero Tolerance knives are all made in the U.S., made in the USA. This one happens to be, I'm looking at it, it's a Ken Onion design. This is the 0350TS for Tiger Stripe. They're very unimaginatively named, but
that looks like those freaky battleships from World War II that had the crazy paint job on them.
You know, it's a assisted opener. There we are. That is,
Nice.
It's flipper or thumb stud.
Nice.
It has a liner lock, which I'm not a fan of liner locks because kids, what happens?
You cut your thumb off.
You close the knife on your own body.
Yeah.
So
Not a good idea.
I'm a
You're
big
allowed to use
fan-
2 hands, Jay.
What's that? I'm sorry.
You're allowed to use 2 hands.
Yes, you are, but you don't always have 2 hands readily available.
You
so.
still wind up you have to push the liner
even,
aside with something.
Even with 2 hands, you're I guess you can hold the blade in your hand if you're really concerned, but we're lazy and stupid.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, it's they're on the pricier side. I think this is like $250 or so.
Wow.
But they're super. I mean, these are really well made. They're just, and they've got lifetime warranties, and this particular one. I don't know if you can see given the resolution, but it's attached up here. But if you want to have it, so when it's in your pocket, it's tipped down. If you want to switch it, there's hole. God damn it! There's holes down. God, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Here, and you can make it for the other side. There's
Oh wow.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
here and here, which
So
is
it's
kind of
like
neat. You know, if you
ambidextrous all the way around.
exactly, if you want to carry
Nice.
it in your right pocket or your left pocket, if you want to have it tip up or tip down, you just have to have a really small screwdriver. So
Cool.
that's my little show and tell.
I like that blade. That's cool.
That's
It is a very cool blade, and it's sharp.
Is it
Okay.
wicked sharp?
It's wicked sharp. It's
can I
wicked
just-
sharp, kid.
for a moment,
Yes.
ask why men have to test the blade. Like, literally, I showed Mike that big knife that you gifted us, Alan.
Yeah.
First fucking thing he did. I'm like,
Ow!
why?
Did he
It's
cut
sharp.
himself?
No.
Okay.
But then he had to shave the hair on his arm.
That's what you do.
That's what
Right.
you do.
Why?
Because
It's
it's what you
sharp. It's a
do.
knife. I don't understand.
It's what you do.
I don't get it.
It's what you do.
Why?
It's what you do.
This needs to be sharpened.
It is.
It only took.
You
Can you
have to.
see?
Yeah, I can see.
It did
It's
take
got
a hair
some-
off.
It's got some skin cells on there.
What
Let's
the
see.
hell? Why?
Oh, there it is. You can see the hair.
Yeah.
I see it.
All right.
Oh my god.
All right, Alan.
Okay.
Is it because you see other men do it and then you think this is what men do?
You
with
have
women?
We're
to-
just monkeys.
you have
That's
to
it.
you have to figure out if it's sharp or not?
It's a knife. Assume it's sharp.
No,
Every gun is
you
loaded.
can't.
Assume the knife is sharp.
It's
Well,
sharp.
yeah,
Well, because you might have to sharpen it.
That's
Oh
right.
my lord. Okay.
Okay. So I don't know, a while back when Texas passed their knife law that basically allowed anything to be carried, I bought this,
Yay.
the Cold Steel Trailmaster, which is like their version of a Bowie
Ooh.
knife.
Yeah.
This is not I've already done show and tell on this, but
Okay.
it's a massive
It is.
foot long
She
Bowie
thick.
knife.
Oh,
Only-
Lord, she thick.
She very thick.
Yes.
You could
Um,
baton that all day long.
Yeah. The only problem is it comes with this Kydex sheath, and Kydex sheaths are okay, except when you want to like put it on your belt or something. And then
Why would
everything
you
just
put that
goes
on
to
your
shit.
belt?
Huh?
Yeah,
Why would
she
you
got
put
like
that on your belt?
So
power
you can
cord.
carry
and-
it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So anyway,
He's in Texas, Brady. He's got to carry it.
I found a guy that makes custom knife sheaths.
Nice.
A guy in Saxis, Virginia, Jay. Savage made sheaths, and he makes custom leather sheaths for all manner of knives.
Hmm.
And this is the one for this knife, and it's black.
Is that a whetstone?
It is. And so it fits in there very nice. It's got the nice snap lock, and it's got the whetstone pocket.
That's
Yep.
handy.
Now, this whetstone is kind of like a family heirloom.
Your
This is-
family?
Yes, this is the whetstone that my dad carried in the sheath of his Randall knife in Vietnam.
Wow, oh, that's cool.
That's great.
So I still have the sheath, but it's like falling apart. It's the red leather's rotten, and
Yeah.
and I have the knife too, but it's not like I'm going to carry that one. But
Right,
the
right.
stone is still very useful because they last forever. And
When you got the sheath made, I assume you had to send the knife to.
no, I didn't, because
Really?
he has made enough of them
Oh,
Oh.
wow!
okay.
for that model of knife. He
wonder.
has a list of knives that he's made enough sheaths of that he has the pattern.
Right.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
And-
cool.
And
Hmm.
so if you have a knife, of course, if he doesn't have the pattern, you have to send the knife to him and he can make the sheath. But if it's one of the ones, like if it's one of the big, like a lot of he's got like a whole bunch of them. And if your knife is one of the ones that's, fairly common and people want sheaths for it so they can carry them, lot of like survival knives and field knives and wood, working in the woods knives and stuff like that. So anyway, that's now I have
That's a
I have
significant
cool-
upgrade.
Does
Alan.
it
Yeah.
does it automatically come with a whetstone pocket, or did you have that added?
This came with it as it was an option, and I
Yeah.
knew that I had one, so I said, yeah, do that.
Nice.
So yeah.
I like
And
it.
it's got the
Very
it's
cool.
got the thing down at the bottom so you can strap it to your leg if you want
Strap
to.
it to your thigh.
Yeah. And it has the sheath, the belt loop thing is, you can put like leather thongs through there to make it, whatever
Yeah.
size you want. So anyway,
Cool.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And it's right here in Virginia. Cool. I'll have
it
to
is.
see if it's if it's
I'll-
close.
I'll send you the link.
Have
You
to
should post the
look.
link on the MeWe. Speaking of
I mean,
MeWe, our
What about
MeWe group
MeWe?
is still pretty active. So
yes, it is.
if anybody wants to join us on MeWe.com, please look for us.
Yep. The MeWe group is pretty active.
We moved to MeWe from Facebook because Facebook was being
Sucks.
Poopy
was
heads.
being Facebook. Although I don't know if they're still kind of doing that anymore.
They don't
I don't
have
know.
to. Orange Man gone.
Yeah, we
Yeah, I
kept
don't know.
we kept getting like, oh no, this thing
I
you
know.
posted
I was
violates
afraid
our
they were
standards.
I was afraid they were gonna nuke the entire group. So
Yeah.
Anyway,
MeWe's
thanks
better
for
than
hanging
Facebook
out,
anyway.
guys.
Yeah. We're gonna go forage now.
So you said next month is the water thing.
Next month is water,
Yeah.
and it happens to be on Jay's birthday.
Oh,
Aha.
we need to do the show like on Friday that week or something, so you can
Jay can have his birthday off.
so Jay can have his birthday and we can hear your story about how to find water,
How to find water.
how to
They give you a
forage for
divining
water.
rod. So I
Okay.
just
Although-
told you, go over and turn
In
the valve.
northeast Ohio, you just go north and you find
Just
the
keep
water,
on walking
right?
north. You're good. You'll find water eventually. Trust me.
Yeah.
It
It might be
little bit.
frozen, but you'll
I was
find
going to
it.
say, just wait for the snow to melt. There's lots of water.
Yeah.
There you go.
Not so much of a thing in Houston, but
Actually, our water comes as rain, so yeah, you definitely don't want to drink any groundwater though.
No. Tastes like
Purify that shit.
golf course.
golf course runoff.
Nope,
Mm.
nope. All right.
Tastes like old man.
Well, we're at the top of the hour.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
We
See you next
made it.
week.
All righty.
4:45.
445.
Oh,
I can't think of a good 4:45. I don't know. It's
Four-
just a number. 4:45.
It's
Is that
6
prime?
weeks, so-
no.
4:45.
Duh. No, it's got to be divisible by 5.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
it
400.
ends in a 5.
Yeah.
It's divisible by 5.
Oh yeah, it is.
I'm not even good at
Eight.
math.
89.
Oh, this is interesting.
What?
It's a semi-prime.
Okay, I'm gonna hang up.
Good
Good night.
We've geeked Brita right off the show.
Bye,
Good night,
everybody.
y'all.